Oh, there y'all go. Welcome to chess, ladies and gentlemen. I knew I could find y'all, man. Y'all out there somewhere. All right, man. So we got the Speed Chess Championship going on right now. And I do have the Blitz Game 11 between Alireza Firouzja and Alexander Grischuk. So, of course, all my people coming from the Philippines, I would say Meron Salamat. Anybody who is coming from Russia, I would say Bolshoye Spasiba. Anybody who is coming from France, I would say Merci beaucoup. And anybody who is coming from Iran, I will say Khali Mamnoon. I got all the thank yous out of the way, man. There's 4 of them total, homie. So yeah, if you guys are ready to go, man, let's take a look and see what we got for this game number 11. So we got the move E4. We got E6, the French defense. One of my personal favorites from the black side. I have been playing it pretty much my entire, chess career. We do see the move D4. We got D5. This is going to be by far the most standard way that you see it played. But of course, when you play on chess.com, you can see anything, anywhere, like Queen H5. Like you're going to checkmate like this, just with the Queen. We do see Knight going to C3. So we do have the classical variation to start off with. We see Knight to F6. And we do have the move E5. This is, like I said, going to be by far the most common way that you see it. So basically, white is trying to, get a certain structure, and black is trying to chip that away. So we do see knight after D7. We got F4. So we have this really, really nice pawn wedge going on. So one of white's main things that they are going to be doing is trying to make sure that they maintain this E5 pawn. And black is going to be trying everything they can. F6, C5, knight C6, queen C7. Just loading up on this E5 pawn with all those arrows. You know what I'm saying? We do see the move C5. Knight goes to F3. We got knight to C6. We do see bishop to E7. And like I said, black is going to be trying to chip away as much as they can, especially at this base point, trying to see if they can get to the E5 square. But this is actually like by far the strongest way to play if you are on the white side against this. And it is really, really, really hard to try to chip away at this structure. Usually you play entire games where E5 literally just stays on the board. We do see pawn taking D4, knight taking D4, and then we do see queen to B6. Hold on a second, bro. Wait, queen to B6? Like, isn't this dangerous? No, it's not. It's not dangerous. What you have to notice as white is this bishop is undefended. So you can always try to go like a knight to F5, but your main issue in this situation is the B2 pawn, and you don't really have a good way to counterattack because this bishop is actually holding this pawn for now. So you can be kind of hanging yourself out to dry. So it seems bad, but it's not. We do see queen going to D2. We got queen taking up B2, like I said. We got rook over to B1, and we do see queen A3. So you see that black has kind of got in and got out. They said, hey, man, I grabbed the pawn, and I'm going to go ahead and just hang out over here on A3. Maybe back up to E7 at some point, just live my best life. We got bishop going to B5. Knight takes D4. Bishop takes D4. We got A6. Bishop takes, and then we do see rook up to B3. You can always go rook takes B7 immediately, but, it's always nice to kind of ask the queen, what does it want to do? So that is what we see when we do see the move rook to B3. And then we see the queen E7 like I was mentioning way before. And then it has been a journey. But we have actually now gotten our pawn back that we were trying to mess with earlier in the game. So you see that everything is fairly equal. But like I said, after all that time, you do see this E5 pawn standing strong. You do not have any more knights that can try to attack this structure. So pretty much for all intents and purposes, you have managed to maintain, your structure as it is. We do see queen going to H4 with check, and you have a couple of options in this position. You can slide the queen over. You can slide the bishop back. You can go maybe G3. They're all playable moves, but we do see bishop going back to F2. We got queen going back to D8. And then we do see bishop going to B6. And this is actually an idea that you guys see a lot when you play like Sicilian Najdorfs. Usually you have like an A4, A5, and you have like a nice little soft point over here on this B6 square. So we do see queen going to C8. I mean, your rook is kind of hanging, it's hanging out over here. It's running out of real estate, bro. But we actually do have a really nice rook goes to C7. And then we see something crazy. We got the queen going to D8. So it seems that this black queen has like a death wish. Like it literally just always wants to be opposite bishops. And it's crazy because this is the same bishop that we saw it opposite earlier in the game. So it seems to be addicted to being right there where the bishop is, but the bishop can't quite get it. So it's like, you can't reach it, bro. We do see queen going up to d4, just making sure this bishop on a6 is defended. So now we have the possibility of maybe the rook moving somewhere and kind of doing some type of discovered attack. We do see bishop going to a3. We got castles. Move 20, homie. And black has not castled to this point. But those of you that play French defenses as black, if it's an exchange, you really kind of want to get castled quick. But usually a lot of those other ones where everything's kind of jammed up in the middle, it is not open. Usually you can either castle like in forever, or you could just never castle and you're good to go. Sometimes it depends. We got rook going over to c8. And then we actually see knight down to b1. It's not the absolutely preferred move, but I mean, it is placing a legitimate counterattack on the situation. You know, you get the rook, we just kind of exchange here, and then I get a free bishop, and we are good to go. We do see rook taking c7. Now, rook taking c7 is placing this rook in a pin against the queen, but there's not really a great way to exploit it. You can't really kind of move queen over here. You don't really have, I mean, you can kind of do it, but I mean, it's going to take a minute for you to kind of move this rook over. The black queen can always unpin. So we do actually see knight taking a3. You're not in a rush. Like I said, this rook is pinned to the queen, and then we do see queen sidestepping over to c8. And we have actually reached a position. There is an absolutely insanely crazy move that white plays in this position. If you want to guess that move, go ahead and do so. Okay, so if you saw the game, like, do not cheat. 0 people are going to get this move. It is absolutely not a good move. And to be completely honest with you, it is a misclick. And I'm going to do my best to try to tell you like what I think Firouzja was trying to do in this situation, but he actually played the move knight to b5. Now, for those of you that are wondering, yes, this is a completely terrible move. It is one of the last moves that you should be making. It is doubly protected on b5. This does not add any pressure to the situation. So, if you guess that move, then you are diabolical, and maybe you're like Macau Tao reincarnated. But I think what happened was Firouzja, he wasn't paying attention to this a6 square, and he was thinking of maybe going this move. So I think, okay, when you're back here and you're thinking as white, okay, what am I going to do? You might be thinking, okay, I'm going to go knight to b5, but then you probably put it out of your mind, and you're like, well, nah, because I can't go knight to b5 because it's like super heavily protected. So I think he was hovering the piece at first and then realized, no, that's not going to work, and he went to go put it back so that he can reach this bishop. And I think that Grischuk actually moved, and in his process of hovering and trying to go for this bishop, I think he accidentally did this. So then he was just like, ugh. You could tell by his reaction that it was a misclick. But like, this is probably the craziest move that you'll ever see in life. And after like a couple of seconds, I mean, Alexander was like, wait, is this a trap? And he was like, no, it's not a trap. Bishop takes b5, and I'm hitting your rook. I've unpinned my rook, but I can lose the rook anyway. It doesn't matter. So we do see that. We got bishop taking c7. We got queen taking c7, rook to f3. And then we do see castles as black. And it is in this position that Firouzja resigns the game. Like I said, I mean, you know, it was definitely a bad mistake. It's kind of one of those situations where I think that Grischuk probably considered giving him, like, you know, a draw. But he was very down in the competition at this point. So he was kind of being like, well, hey, tough. I mean, misclicks happen to the best of us. Also, you know, it's kind of one of those things where it wasn't like an obvious, like, accidental, like, kind of thing. Like, maybe he might have meant to make the move or something and didn't kind of check all the way. So, I mean, that kind of just played on for a couple of moves and stuff. It's not like, you know, when somebody just, like, moves, you know, they just, like, do something like this or something, and you're like, okay, there's no way you do that. Like, this is obviously a misclick or something. So, I don't know, man. I didn't talk to either one of them. But anyways, man, I appreciate everybody very much for stopping by. All of my people in the Philippines, I would say magandang umaga. It is pretty early morning, so get your coconut shakes. You know who you are. Anybody who is coming from Russia, I'll say Dominguez Perez. And Bolshaya Spasiba. I appreciate you guys very much for coming by. Anybody who is from Iran, I will say Salam and Chatori. I appreciate you guys very much for stopping by. Merci. Anybody who is coming from France, I will say bienvenue. Comment allez-vous? Comment ça va, mes amis? I appreciate you guys very much for coming by. Merci beaucoup. And I'm going to see everybody next time.